Hello, we're coming live from Refresh 19. This is the IT Chronicles 10 in Tech. And today we have with us Sanjeev and V. He is a product evangelist for Freshworks. And we're going to talk a little bit today about selfless self-service. That title really intrigues me. So could you share a bit with Carlos and I about this selfless self-service?
Thank you. Thanks a lot for having me. And it's selfless service, so I removed the self-service out because I think it's outdated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. See, we're learning something.
Right, yeah, that's
We're not
it.
wasting any time. We're
No,
learning.
first step, done. I learned something new. Thank you.
So to me, the reason I kind of coined, if I can call it that, selfless service is because I think self-service puts a lot of pressure on the end user. Like, for example, let's say I need something fixed. They expect me to kind of remember a URL or remember an email and kind of go into that, fill out a form, go through the knowledge base. It's just like too complicated. So to me, selfless service is a mindset change where, as an IT organization, you are kind of putting your users' needs above your own. It's no longer about creating a portal. It's no longer about creating a form. It's about making sure how can I help my end users solve their problem so that they can go on and do their job. So to me, selfless service is that mindset change where IT organizations are no longer thinking about technology or tools. They're thinking about the users and how to make life easy for them.
Okay. So help me understand. I'm kind of a visual person. I'm trying to feel like so how would I start my journey with the customer on a selfless help journey?
Okay. So I always talk about this story when I talk about selfless service, right? So I was in London, the first time traveling by the underground. And I am a person who would not stop to ask for instructions. So I would rather end up...
Like most men in the world.
Yeah, I knew you were going to
It's not very unique.
Usually you wait
You're not that unique.
I was going to say, you usually give at least 2 more seconds for him to finish saying before you jump.
Sorry.
You're not married to him.
No, I know. Sorry, Sanjeev, but it's
No, it's all right.
getting a little punchy.
No, but I would rather end up on the wrong stop or than stop and ask for instructions. I'm just if I have internet, I'm okay, but then on the underground, you don't. So when I went to the London Underground and had to go from A to B, I found that every time that I had to make a choice, there was something there guiding me, and I was able to kind of do what I was supposed to do without having to stop and ask for instructions. So in my head, translating that into an IT context, right? Let's say I'm an end user working on my application, and something's wrong. If you're going to expect me to find a portal, find the right category, choose it, and put in the error codes, I'm not going to do that, right? Instead, what if I'm able to contact IT right within my own tool, let's say Slack or Microsoft Teams or Fresh Connect in our case? So can we take self-service to where users are and not expect them to come to us? So the mindset change will trigger solutions like this where, imagine you have an intranet portal and you have self-service embedded right within it because people are already using it, and not keep self-service portals or not expect people to email with the right information. So it's just a mindset change, but from an application standpoint, it'll just be, it'll come down to user experience. It'll come down to making sure that, you're making it accessible, making it easy to find, easy to use, and things like that.
So let me see if I get this straight. So what I'm kind of hearing is the current self-service model is I had an issue, now you've essentially put the burden on me to do some self-diagnosis. Right, to report it. Right, where do I go to report it? And then you're going to ask me all these questions like, no, I've had a problem. And
I'm the customer.
Yeah, I just left your tool. So if I'm hearing you correctly, what you're saying is it's sort of embedded into my natural activity.
Exactly.
And it's like, I ran into a problem right here. So therefore, let me start it, and it's going to capture my environment, essentially, and say, I think I got a second job coming now.
No,
So,
I mean,
you got this one?
job.
And it kind of says, okay, we've got to capture essentially of where you're initiating this discussion, this interaction. We have to presume that something happened during this environment.
And that is very contextual to an in-app support, right? Let's say I'm using an application that IT has built for me. If I'm reporting an issue right from within it, they shouldn't be asking me questions.
What application are you using?
Wait,
hold it. You have it up.
But then you'll be surprised the amount of time that does happen, right? So
99% of the time.
And that's why I thought, the way it's set, and that is expected to be normal. End users are forcing into these habits, even though it's intrusive, but they're you know what, that's the only way I'm going to get my issue fixed.
But then we call them end users. They should be customers.
I don't know. I would slightly debate that. I would assume that customers are someone who's actually paying you.
But everybody's paying you.
Not everybody's.
But if you
Okay.
just, well, yeah, but like as I
I
said,
go
So-
more consumer.
yeah.
Yeah,
consumer,
maybe
consumer.
that'll be a
Yeah, consumer
yeah,
service.
like someone who's using what you have built. Yeah, consumer is probably a
Yeah, it's
right
probably
term.
a better term.
Yeah.
Don't give them a hard time.
Sorry, Sanjeev.
But right, but that's the thing I think from an end user or a consumer perspective, I think that's where the frustration starts with the self-service. Although I'm happier than having to call someone and go through the whole thing and start from scratch. Yeah, I think we've moved towards like, just give me a website and I'll enter it. But yeah, it sounds like you're looking at the next phase
Yes.
of maturity where
Yes.
we've recognized something. You're initiating an engagement with us and we'll help essentially pre-fill a lot of the things.
Pre-fill, and that's just one example. See, the other example is that can I make myself invisible in a lot of places, right? For example, can I proactively detect issues? So internally in one of our hackathons, one of our friends built something called Peak. So it's like this code which is that you can embed. What it'll do is, let's say if you're on rage clicks, like trying to click randomly, trying to find something.
Rage click, I like
Yeah.
Rage clicks.
It will detect that,
A lot.
like, and how many times have you wished that, okay, what if someone could help me right now? What if a technology could kind of detect that, you're going on by yourself, trying to figure something out, and proactively reach out and be like,
Please don't tell me that it's going to like pause it.
Nah.
You're raging.
no. That would be fun.
Right
Yeah,
now.
we'll be tempted to do that. But
I see you're angry. Could you tell me what level of anger you're at with my product?
Happy face? Sad face.
Really
Very
angry
angry face.
It's like, and that'll tell you the level of organization that this is going to escalate directly.
Oh, yeah.
Escalating.
But in a way, I mean, I know we're joking about it, but if we really kind of unwind that, why couldn't it be that way?
Yeah.
We've seen this pattern where people start getting and they're clicking. Then that next phase is click on the same one. It's pretty obvious that something's wrong with the software, and they're going to be less accommodating, shall we say?
Yep, and that's just one example again, right? The reason I'm calling this a mindset shift is because if you really start applying yourself and kind of flip the switch in your head to start looking at it from their end, you start discovering a lot more of these, and from a technology side, you start optimizing for these. So that's where I'm really going with this. And that's what I really want to kind of spread the message.
So selfless help is really focusing from the customer, the outside lens in.
Yes.
Right, as opposed to
Us.
you're pushing out your processes and
Like knowledge base, for example, like what's the point? Like I don't have to worry about creating 20 knowledge base articles if none of them are going to be used, right? So one way to think about in a selfless service world, what would you do is, okay, now I know my end users, like, they like maybe consuming videos over text. Maybe they prefer GIFs over screenshots or something like that. You would really go out, find that information, and build a knowledge base to solve for that problem. And not just go, okay, we need to create a knowledge base, so let's just do one. So that's the kind of change that I'm hoping would come about.
So are you also, again, now, and you could probably smell the burning,
it's getting quite free.
I'm trying to think, like, I could see scenarios where you see certain pattern of behavior where they're clicking it and it's like, it looks like they're searching for something. Would you basically try and capture that and say, hey, it looks like you're searching for something.
Can I help you?
Here's a video. Can I help you? We need the Microsoft paperclip back.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
the
paper.
Clippy.
Yeah, Clippy.
Yeah.
So
Paperclip.
here's the video of like, we think you're
Potentially,
you're
yeah.
looking for something like that. Is
Yeah.
that kind of where you think it might end up going?
Yeah, I think that's one of the applications, provided you do it right. You don't want to annoy or frustrate them further.
Yeah,
so.
like those virtual support agents that just like hurl web
Yeah.
content searches
But
at you.
you're
Is
not-
this what you're looking for?
It's like,
no.
I just got to the website.
No, no, but it's the same thing as even too, it's like when you type in the context of what you're looking for, is like, can you act a bit more like a human being than something that's going to throw web searches at me?
But they throw like this video of a supposedly real person talking to you. Isn't that more?
Oh, no, I would
I
try away
hate
from
those.
that.
I hate
Yeah,
the dots. Okay, so the dots that are
Oh,
going,
like,
and then
I know
they
you're a
only type
machine.
3 words back, and it's like, why those dots went on for like a minute? Dot 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 dot. And you're like, oh, they're going to solve
The
my problem.
agent
It's
is
like,
typing. And then they ask you the same thing when you started the conversation with them. What can I help you with? Well, wasn't that the whole point of me entering the first time?
But we could go on and on
Yes.
about this. And Sanjeev's really busy because he's got a presentation to do.
Oh, yeah.
And we appreciate it. It's definitely a topic. You can see that both Carlos and I are very passionate about.
Thank you.
And stopping by the IT Chronicles
Oh, yeah.
to give us some insight into, selfless help.
Thank you. And you
And
guys
being
are
so
awesome.
selfless to
Yeah,
help us out.
yeah,
re-
being so
Yeah,
selfless.
I think the more we say the word selfless service, I think I'd love it because I'm really trying to get the word out and like see if that that can become like the next big thing.
Absolutely.
Never know.
Hashtag selfless
Yeah, hashtag
help.
selfless service. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, Sanjeev.
Cool.
Thank
Thanks
you,
a lot.
Sanjeev.
Thank you.